So hello and welcome to our live Q&A. It is Monday, March 18th. If you're watching in real time, Judy, Megan, and one person on the phone, thanks for joining us live. I am here to answer your questions every single Monday, except in April. I'm off teaching in Bermuda in April, and so there will be no live Q&A. So we have this week here with me, and then next week we watch Abby Herman of Right Solutions walk a yoga teacher through their content plan. So we all get to watch, and that one yoga teacher has won. We're just working out the details, and then I can announce who the winner is, just making sure that that person is able to show up here live so that we can watch and is okay with us all watching that process as well. Megan's here from Tulsa. Judy is in New Hampshire. Oh my gosh, Judy, we go to New Hampshire every summer to visit family. You like the question on retiring into yoga teaching and would like to hear from others. So tell me more about that, Judy. Tell me about your question about retiring into yoga. Do you mean you are retiring and you want to teach yoga, or clarify that for me a little bit? Also, there is always the option to use audio, almost like a call-in radio show, so we can chat that way as well, if that is of interest to you. We can, I can hear your question. Not that we can see you, but we can all hear your question if you want to do it that way as well. I have a few things I want to tell you as you get ready to put your questions in the Q&A here or in the chat. So I wanted to let you know that there are still a few spots open in the Mama Nurture Bermuda. If you're interested in studying prenatal yoga, postnatal yoga, fertility, baby and me yoga, that is at Just Breathe. And we did a little tour of the studio in Bermuda with Samantha, and I'm super excited about going there. So if you have any questions about that training, let me know today in the chat and I will be sure to answer them. Someone asked about our schedule and also if you can be there while you're pregnant, and the schedule is, we have the schedule all set out. I'm happy to talk about that. But yes, lots of people often attend while they're pregnant. Also, I wanted to show you and tell you about the podcast episode this week. So speaking of prenatal yoga, I did an episode. It's kind of like a mini training, and it's all about using inclusive yoga in your prenatal yoga class. So this isn't just for prenatal yoga, but it definitely does come in for sure for prenatal. So let me give you an example. One example I like to use is that we encourage our Mama Nurture teachers to not always say labor when they're talking about birthing babe. Instead, we say birthing or meeting baby or delivery, moving away a little bit of the words that might bring on some fear or make it feel like more of the victim role. Sometimes labor can sound like it's going to be a lot of work, which it may be, but we can really affect the body and the mind with the language that we use. Hi, Amanda. Great to see you. Krista's here as well. Let me know what your questions are in the chat, and I have a few more updates to share with all of you. So I got a little overzealous with the PDF printable that I wanted to give for this. Let me show it to you if I can. I feel like I can share my screen and show the PDF to you. I just got really excited about making this because it was a big update to the manual and to the curriculum, and I couldn't wait. And so I shared it on the podcast this morning. It went out. So I give this list of, instead of saying, consider saying, the big update, the big overhaul was that we're now looking at gender neutral terms. So instead of saying dad and mom or men and women, then we might say parents, families, people, friends. So all of that is in here. Also, then I talked about this on the podcast. So it's like the Cole's Notes version of the podcast. It helps to have listened to the podcast and then have this to support you. I talked about the health and waiver form, and at the very last minute, I created a new one so that you can see what I'm talking about. And I updated it. share what to expect in a prenatal yoga class is also in this PDF. You can get it directly from the show notes. So to get it, you just go to the connectedyogateacher.com/108 and it will be there for you. Also, this is an example of a welcome, and this was something that worked so well through audio. So my show notes writer, Crunch, said, you know what, as much as you said this could go out in an email to prenatal students so that they know what to expect before the class, I think there's a real power in having it as an audio version. So you could still do that in your email. Amanda's here on the call today. She's a big fan of Steph Crowder, and Steph does this. She reads her emails. And then, so this is the last piece that I didn't plan on doing, but I thought last night, you know what, I'm going to do it. So here I have put the update to the waiver form is the preferred pronoun. And that comes into our gender neutral, making people feel included. Our students can just let us know what the preferred pronouns are. And also the name of the birth support person. So instead of saying husband or not husband or partner, or then it's birth support person or people. Because we all have different family dynamics. So this was not an easy podcast for me to do. I am more than happy to answer any questions about this today and moving on from today as well. And also any of your other questions. Hi, Kathy, great to see you here live. If you have other questions, put them in the Q&A or put them in the chat. And I am going to dig into those questions. Oh, a couple more notes. Some of you are asking me about group coaching. So my group coaching has a big, exciting announcement. Amanda's here on the call, and we have seen her in one of the live Q&A. That group coaching is going to be done with Amanda in May. We're going to do it together. So that's a super extra bonus for that group coaching, because not only will you get me at that group coaching, but you'll also get Amanda, who is a marketing expert for yoga teachers. I'm super excited. And if you're thinking, I can't wait, I need a group right now, Amanda has, I think, 1 or 2 spots left in her group coaching that starts in April. Amanda, will you put the link in the chat here for how people find out more information? And she's here and she can answer questions. If you have questions, you're free to ask them in the chat for her or I about the group coaching. You're going to hear more about it on the podcast and in emails and different things. Okay. Is that it for the rest of my notes? I think so. I told you that Abby will be here next week. Oh, if some of you are wanting to book a consultation call, I don't have anything open until May. So if you are looking for that, go to the connectedyogateacher.com and under work with Shannon, if you want to work one-on-one, then you can book in May and June. And then I take July and August off. Okay, so let's see. Yes, Megan, I agree. I'm so excited to watch the content creation happen as well. Judy says, I've been a Montessori teacher for over 30 years and just retired in June. Congratulations, Judy. That's when I bought an existing yoga studio. I'm wondering how others are surviving this, especially as a new business owner. Okay, Judy, I'm not sure if you're able to chat with me live. I'm going to ask you to, and I'll put my earbuds in so I can hear you if it's possible. You can tell me, no, it's not. I can only type and I can try and answer your question as best as possible here. But let's see if you can.
Can you hear me?
Hi, Judy. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Very good, thank you. I have a tea in hand. I'm chatting with yoga teachers. It's like a good day.
Absolutely.
So tell me what feels the most challenging right now having a new yoga studio? So you bought an existing yoga studio. How established was it? And what is feeling the most challenging right now?
Okay, so it was a 10-year-old yoga studio owned by a very, very wonderful, very highly energetic yoga teacher. And I am like the flip of that.
Right.
So naturally, we lost some students. We're also, on the other hand, gaining some new students.
Right.
So I guess my challenge is how to invite new students in and how to market to them and others and how to keep them in my studio.
Right. Okay, so a couple of things. One is don't take it personally when people leave, when there's a change in hands in a yoga studio. It's about you and that other teacher, and it's not. Like, people really gravitate, and as you said, you're already drawing in new students that are more connected with you or whatever teachers are there. So that's the first thing to know, that that's a really common occurrence when studios change hands. And so in terms of marketing, and we have a podcast coming out on this soon, here's the thing that I think that we forget as yoga teachers. Sometimes we think, well, I put my website up, or I put my business on Facebook, or I did this thing and we had some new students and then it shut off. And it's like turning off the tap. So if you think that if we had this little water fountain and the very first bucket was visibility and marketing, you turn on the tap and you fill this bucket so that it's overflowing into sales. So the first thing is that people have to know about your studio and know about the classes that you offer. So you turn on the tap and you fill that bucket and it overflows, and then you need to make the sale to someone. And that can be as basic as saying, here's the button on my website where you can sign up for that class. Sometimes it means that we're sitting at coffee with a few friends and someone says, what do? You say, I'm a yoga teacher. And they say, oh, wow, what kind of yoga do you teach? And that can be the sale. Just us telling them and then telling them how they sign up for that class. Sometimes it's following up with someone. But it's like we fill the visibility and marketing bucket, and then it overflows into our sales bucket, and then we teach yoga. But a lot of the time we become a yoga teacher and then we think, okay, I'll do a little bit of that visibility in the sales, and then I want to teach yoga, and then I want to keep teaching yoga. But we have to it's like we've turned the tap off at the top and we can't keep teaching yoga. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it does. I think it does. And one of the things that I was really excited about was, and I forget her name right now, I have my notes here somewhere because I was just looking at it, was the marketing session that we did that you posted with, what was her name?
Amanda, was it Amanda?
Yes.
Yes. Amanda's here on the call. Yes.
Oh, that's her. Oh, okay. She was fabulous. I loved listening to her.
Yeah. So we need to, Amanda, maybe you have some ideas as well to put in here for Judy in terms of marketing, or anyone else. But I would ask you, Judy, what is the best way right now that you're seeing, okay, we do this marketing thing and then we're getting people coming into the studio? Quite often it's word of mouth, which is a little harder to track, but are there other things and you think, oh, that worked in the past, or that is still working?
Facebook works, but I feel like I get more likes than actual people walking into the studio.
Right.
I guess that's the nature of the beast. Word of mouth, I think, is really big. And I've just now started to put all my notes together from Amanda's webinar. And I'm starting to put together subjects that I can talk about and get information out there through email.
Oh, that's so good. And next week, I think you'll love when Abby really says, okay, focus on these main ones. And I think Amanda talks about 4 pillars of content as well. So it's all going to tie in. Now, what I would say is, let's look at your marketing in terms of what is working. Oh, first of all, I want to ask you, do you have an email list?
Yes.
Okay, good. Do you have a website?
Yes.
Yay. How often do you email your list?
Not as often as I should.
Okay.
So that's why I started to get together that list of what I can email out.
Yeah, because you want to make sure that it's good content, not just come to class, right?
Exactly.
So let's aim to find what those topics are that you're going to mostly talk about in the newsletter, and let's send that newsletter out once a week. And if you can think about it in terms of, how people kind of send out some people send an email around Christmas time or something, or an update about their family. It's kind of like that. You want to make it personal and make it feel like here's a photo of something from the studio, or here's a fun thing because you're on our email list, or here's an interesting article or something we've learned. It doesn't have to be long.
Yeah, and the other thing is I'm trying to become more familiar with technology. That's not my strong suit.
Right. Do you have other teachers teaching at your space?
Yes, there are 8 of us all together.
Amazing. And I wonder if any of them are creating little videos on Instagram or Facebook or...
Only one.
Okay. Get that person to talk your team through the video content, and see if you can come up with, what I would open as a yoga student is, here's a pose for your shoulder today. If you have a sore shoulder, or here's a pose if you can't be in table pose on your knees, but you also want to customize this to what your teachers are teaching.
That sounds like a great idea.
Mm-hmm. And that makes someone want to click and, watch it, do it. They can do it at home and then think, oh yeah, I need to get into that class where that teacher is modifying or offering this in some way.
Yeah, I think that's really good. And none of the other teachers do that. And I think it would be important for them to do that.
Yeah. And if you all, because there are so many of you, if you all took 1 week and you said, I'll make a video this week, or we'll make this big batch of 8 videos, you'd have enough to put out for 2 months. You could put them on YouTube and then put them out in the email.
That's a great idea. I like that.
Yeah, I think Abby's going to talk to us. Well, we can ask her definitely next Monday about batching content.
Okay.
It's so much easier with something like that.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I'm happy already. You've given me some good stuff already.
Yay. And then check back through the comments as well, because I'm sure there are some teachers on here that will have some other ideas as well.
Good. Excellent.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move to our next question. Amanda, yes, I love the audio option for emails. I do this every week and people use it. Oh, Amanda, I love it that you do that. It's kind of like a podcast. Like, having your email read to you means that you could do something else. You could get up and make yourself a tea. I wonder, because my temptation is a bit squirrel-like, is to go move around on other things. So I wonder if video also would work. Okay, so Amanda has 2 spots left in her group coaching in April, and she has put the link there. Super excited about that. Yes, and Judy, Amanda has put her contact information if you want to reach out to her as well. This might be the thing that you want to have if you want to have like this is what the group program does, is that you are able to tap into the energy of the entire group, and then weekly information and ideas. All right, we have a couple other people. Andrea's here, and then AK. Do we have a name, AK, that you could type in the chat just so that I can call you by name? Where is it? Is it on Facebook? Are you talking about the group coaching? I feel bad just saying AK. So let me know your name. Krista says, for those of you who read emails, you also include the text transcript. Yes, I believe so, Krista. The emails that I get, you can read it, or it says, have this email read to me, and it's just a little button there. It's pretty handy. Amanda, do you want to let us know how you record that? I did it once, and then I thought, I'm not going to, but I wonder, because I know Amanda's open rates, because we chat about these kinds of things. I know her open rates are really great. Amy. Okay, great. Thanks, Amy. The links I just mentioned. Okay, so Amanda put the link to her group coaching. Amanda, will you put it in again? I hope you're not walking around the grocery store as you said you might be. You'll just be standing there doing the live call. Amanda uses QuickTime on her Mac and records the audio. Okay, great. She put the link again for the group coaching. Let me know, Amy, if you were looking for another link as well. And I know we have a question over in the live Q&A. Megan says, thoughts on switching to Wix, business resources, email marketing, online payments, scheduling, invoicing, etc., or staying with multiple websites and resources, MailChimp, Venmo, Stripe, ScheduleissetE, FreshBooks, etc. I feel your pain, Megan. I really do on this. Oh, I love it. Amanda and Megan know each other, so they're saying a little hello. You two just got through a very intensive yoga teacher training weekend together. Okay, so yes, Chris is already putting in here, look into ConvertKit, and I have to tell you that I don't know that I have the simple answer here, Megan. What I would say is something like Wix and Squarespace, and also Weebly is another one that I've seen yoga teachers use. If that is working for you, keep it really simple and keep your website on there. Now, email marketing, I used MailChimp and still continue to use MailChimp, but I'm switching. I'm switching to ActiveCampaign. A lot of people like ConvertKit. I'm pretty sure Amanda's a ConvertKit person. Krista is as well. And here's my understanding of the benefit of that. So if you're already to the point with your email list where you're paying for, and is it $2,000, $2,500? I don't know. At some point you have to pay for MailChimp. $2,000. It's free up to $2,000. Amanda says, I do use ConvertKit for my email system. MailChimp is the best to start with. It's free for up to 2,000 subscribers. Yes, this is where I would start with. And then when you need to look and get ready to switch, no big stress. ActiveCampaign is a company that I am going to go with. A friend of mine recommended. Abby Herman uses ActiveCampaign. And that is... they'll do all of the moving over. All of my emails that I've created, my lists, everything, they'll do the work in moving it over for me. So that's something to keep in mind. And my understanding is that the benefit is that then when people click on something that they're interested in, it will tag them and say, this person is interested in this kind of training. And then I can customize emails a little bit more. Whereas in MailChimp, if someone clicks on something, I would have to go back to that campaign and create a list out of those people in each one maybe that I sent out that week. So it's just not as simple. Amanda's trying to put the link here, but Judy, is it Judy who is not able to find the link? If you still can't see the link, Judy, then you can email me. It's Shannon@theconnectedyogateacher.com and I will send it to you. Good. Megan can see it. Good. Alrighty. Megan, I want to keep answering this question for you. So one thing do you use ScheduleissetE right now? You want to look for things that talk to each other. So ScheduleissetE does talk with Stripe. They're integrated. And that's my favorite for taking payments. I don't know about Venmo, but I definitely like using Stripe. FreshBooks is an option. I use QuickBooks. I used to use Wave when I wanted to use a free version. And maybe someone else can answer this question. I do not know how to make Stripe talk to QuickBooks. So I'm not sure if anyone else uses FreshBooks and knows if they can talk to each other. This is the one really frustrating thing sometimes is we need to find the systems like invoicing we'll be doing through something like FreshBooks. Multiple websites is interesting. Do you mean having more than one website, Megan? I would highly advise against that for a while. Stripe talks to your bank account, which talks to QuickBooks. Yes, Amanda. But I feel like I still have to let them know because there's a slight little fee on Stripe and it's a different amount. I can tell it and then there's a little trick to that. Yes. So Megan's saying what's simple and works with her brain is youcanbookme.com. Is this a free program, Megan? Because ScheduleissetE is free until you start booking 20 or more things. That's why I love them, plus their customer service. You all know, you probably hear me talk all about ScheduleissetE. But then Megan goes on to say, no, I only have one website, but many resources altogether. There is going to be an episode out really soon with Iman Zabi. I want to say it's episode 109 is my guess, in a couple of weeks. And that episode is all about your website. And what she said on there, I just thought, oh, really? And I would love to know anyone's take on this. She was saying she believes that a website should only have 2 calls to action. So 2 things that people are clicking on and buying or doing. This is not the case with any of my websites, I don't think. Maybe my yoga one, actually. Maybe when I've niched down. Not the Connected Yoga Teacher. There's all kinds of resources and stuff there. Calls to action, though, yeah, there's still a lot. So this has challenged me as well. Yeah, Megan, ScheduleissetE is free. She's saying, whoa, free. Very cool. It's easy to use. You can sign up and just try it. I should chat with our ScheduleissetE people. For anyone who is going to the Toronto Yoga Show, ScheduleissetE is going to give out a discount card, and that's for all of our yoga teachers in North America. If any of you are in the Toronto area around the time of the Toronto Yoga Show, reach out to me because we're having a really special gathering and I have some of those cards for you. And Megan, maybe I'll chat with ScheduleissetE and say, hey, what if there are some leftover cards, coupon cards? What are we doing with those? I'll find out. I hope that helped, Megan. I do really understand the difficulty sometimes of having so many different pieces of tech or different programs that we use. So I'm not sure if that helped. Let me know if you have more questions about that, and I'll just click these. Done. And who else has a question for me? Anything yoga, anything business? Emily, great to see you here. Melody as well. We have some new faces, new names popping up. If you want, you can ask your question, and if I feel like it's a question that needs some expansion, then we can do a little chat where you can, it's like a radio call-in show. And I never check over on our Facebook group because on our Facebook page, it distracts me when I do that. But if we're out of questions, I'm going to do that today. So let me know if you have other questions here today. Otherwise, I'm going to buzz over and see what everyone is saying on the Facebook page. And also, I was saying that this is where my brain is like, can it do 2 things at once? We are starting to share these videos on both YouTube, and they're on the Facebook page. If you just popped in and you're like, wait a second, I missed something and I want to go back and ask a question. Okay, good. No questions on there. Sometimes I feel bad because we do it live here and then I just ignore the Facebook page, and sometimes people have asked me questions or said hello. So if you are on our Facebook page and you're wondering, how do I get to that? I've put the link there for you. Who else has a question for me, or what feels like the biggest struggle right now in your yoga business or something you're stuck with? I'm going to answer a question from Emily. What do you recommend as the best platform to post educational tutorials? YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram. Okay, here's a great quick piece of this, Emily. What is different about YouTube is that you sort of own that content. Like, you create a video and you have the backup of it. It's not the same with Instagram. As we just saw last week, Instagram went down, and then potentially it could change. Now, the same could be said about YouTube. YouTube could change, but my guess is, and my hope is that you keep a backup of those videos. When you take the time to make a video, edit it, and then possibly edit it, and then put it up on YouTube, that you have a backup of that video. Now, you asked me about YouTube, Pinterest, and Instagram. Both YouTube and Pinterest are search platforms. Instagram isn't. It's not like we go on Instagram and say, I need a video of a good pose to strengthen my back. But we do that all the time on YouTube and Pinterest. One of the yoga teachers in a group program that I'm leading, along with another yoga teacher who I'm friends with on Instagram, both of them in the last month have talked about how big of a platform Pinterest is for their business. When they really look at the analytics, where is their website traffic coming from? A huge chunk of it is from Pinterest. Now, I'm not a person who uses Pinterest, hardly ever, but I am really looking at this platform. I think it's really worth looking at. And so we have someone coming on to the podcast talking about Pinterest soon, and kind of all of the little tips and tricks for getting started on Pinterest, and for using Pinterest to market your yoga so that you see a return on your investment, that you're seeing people book your yoga classes or seeing people sign up for your courses. So I'm excited about that. And if you're interested in following her before we have her on the podcast, it's Kate All of Simply Pin Media. Let me see if I can grab that for you. Does anyone here in our live call use Pinterest right now? And if so, how is it working for you? And also, does anyone use YouTube? And how is it working for you? Basically, are you seeing a return on your investment? Are you seeing people sign up for your, there's a little pop-up coming up here, for your classes through that? Okay, let me get this for you, Emily, and everyone else. Kate is amazing. She has a podcast. Whoops, didn't like that. There we go. simplepinmedia.com is her website. And then she has a podcast, and she says that her podcast is really for people who are wanting to start out and aren't ready to purchase, their services. So it's a great place to start if you're looking for Pinterest. Amanda did an Instagram course for yoga teachers online. Amanda, if you want to put that there, you're more than welcome to. And then YouTube, again, a searchable platform. The key with all of these, Emily, is that you create consistent content where your audience is showing up and where they're hanging out. So Pinterest to me is not dying out. My 14-year-old daughter is on Pinterest, and my 40-something-year-old friends are on Pinterest. Instagram seems to be more so for the, I want to say younger. I'm on Instagram, but my mom isn't. Or my mom's barely on Facebook either. But her generation is more so on Facebook. My daughter wouldn't be caught dead on Facebook. So it's really interesting where people are hanging out. Now, I think everyone is going to YouTube. Let's see what people are saying here. Krista says, I get a fair amount of traffic from Pinterest, and it's worked better for me than YouTube. Kate's email list shares valuable info to if you sign up. It's so true, Krista. Kate gives away a lot of information about Pinterest. We packed it in that podcast episode, and I actually bumped it up a little sooner because people were really asking me about it, and it's a hot topic right now. Amanda says, I use YouTube and just started with Pinterest. Next month, really. I will be keeping lots of data points as I start with Pinterest so I can keep you posted. Here's my Instagram digital course. So Amanda has posted the link to the Instagram digital course if you want to learn about posting on Instagram. Also, what I didn't know about Pinterest is that Kate was saying it's really helpful to take, say, for one piece of content, create 10 images and then schedule them out. So I started fooling around with Tailwind. I don't know if anyone else is using Tailwind, but it's so easy to schedule it out, and then it will just release on the day. I signed up for the free version to give it a try so that I could see what that platform was even like, and I don't know how much the paid version is. Judy's saying, I don't use any of these sites. And here's the very big key piece. Before you decide, oh wow, everyone's on Pinterest, I better get on there, I would ask 10 of your favorite yoga students or 10 of your most consistent yoga students, maybe 20 of them, where are you consuming your content? Where are you the most? Are you on YouTube? Are you in your email? Are you, like, ask them where they're showing up. So I did a survey not that long ago and asked everyone of my audience and their podcast listeners, which makes sense because I built the Connected Yoga Teacher podcast. But you can see how and no one said, it was like so low for Facebook Live. So I'm still doing our Zoom calls, doing them in a different way. But do we get a lot of traffic from that Facebook Live? No. So now I'm trying YouTube. And like Amanda was saying, she's saving the data from this. So learn from that data, look at it and say, okay, I'm going to try this thing on YouTube maybe. Because Judy, we were talking about you doing video. So say you decide, and Emily, same thing here, decide, okay, for this month, we're going to give it a go on YouTube and see what happens. Now, Kate All will tell you in this podcast interview that's coming up that Pinterest is not a quick turnaround. You're in it for the long game. And I have to say that I think that's the same on every platform. So Amanda's saying pick one, get started, focus on that until it's easy. Then add another platform. It's better to be awesome at one thing than mediocre on several. So true. And don't be afraid to give some up if you're just not having fun on that platform. Twitter to me is so painful. I am not happy on Twitter. I only went on there the other day to say, is this where I have to hang out now that Facebook and Instagram are down? Also, really look at that you still have your email list and your website because you own those things. Those would be my top ones to start with. Emily, so glad that was helpful. The other thing is that everybody's business is different. Amanda's she has a podcast coming out soon as well. And we talk about niche and marketing. Amanda, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that was that one where you were saying what works in my business or what works in one doesn't work in the other. Either that or I'm mixing up podcast interviews, which could happen. Okay, what other questions do we have? What else is feeling like it's an issue? So it seems like today's call is really focused on the marketing, and I love that. And I wonder, Amanda, I have a question. Do you have any suggestions for how to keep up with the marketing where we don't just think, well, I've marketed, so that's done. Is there this way to make it consistent? I would like to think that it's in a plan for consistent content, but I wonder if we have other ideas here. And let's take a little quick poll in the comments here of where are you getting the most traction from your marketing, your visibility? Do any of you know that? Where are you seeing the most return on investment? Say you make a poster or you talk to a local group or your students do you have a place on your form that's saying, where did you hear about this class? Are they hearing it from other friends? Did they see it on Facebook? How are you tracking that? I'm curious to hear that. And where are you tracking it and where are they coming from? Because that's really the secret is like, where are people finding you now? And let's double down on that. Like, let's do more of that so that more people are finding you. Okay, I'm going to close out that question. Amanda says, making a part of your routine is key. Keeping it simple, letting one piece of content serve multiple channels, and making sure you're having fun is the biggest need. So glad that you answered so much here. Oh, Melody, get right back to that. If it's not serving you, then take a step back. It's so true. You don't want this to be painful. I know some people do not want to be on social media. That's fine. Go to your community groups and go meet with them in person. Melody says, hi, Shannon. I have a question about setting up registered sessions. What's ideal for promoting a registered session for the first time? For example, 6-week session when you don't have a venue secured. First of all, Melody, I'd like to find out why you don't have a venue secured. Maybe you answer that in a moment. Realistically, I wouldn't be able to pre-book and pay for, oh, you're going to explain it to me. Thank you. I wouldn't be able to pre-book and pay for 6 weeks worth of venue rental if I don't know how many, if any, will register. I'd need my minimum number of students to register, AKA receive payment, before I could rent the venue, but I don't want to run the risk of having to change dates, times prior to session kickoff, because while waiting for the registries, the dates, times I wanted for the rental venue are no longer available. I'm going to be moving to Australia on a working holiday visa and want to try registered sessions over there, different from the weekly drop-in I've been offering here in Calgary. Thank you. Okay, first of all, I want to say, Melody, I feel like you had some really warm weather in Calgary and I miss the mountains. So my brother lives, well, he's traveling right now, but he's from Cochrane and my dad's from Olds. So I have a very sweet spot for Calgary and all things Alberta. Secondly, I want to answer your question. So I'm so glad that you're doing registered sessions. I'm not even going to be able to drink my tea. I'm so excited. And this is exactly why. You want to know that you're going to make profit and you want to pre-book your venue, and drop-in is not going to pay your bills when it's something like this, when you rely on it. And it's so great if you're moving to a place and you're setting that up right away. So first of all, congratulations on that. Now let's look at, when do you need to pay the rental? So if you go to a space and you say, okay, how far in advance do I need to pay for this space? You're going to work it back and tell your students, I need to pay for the space and know that I have 6 people to rent it. It's okay to be really honest with people about that. You don't have to let on that every class is full. I go through this all the time. All the time. There are things that for whatever reason, maybe I haven't done my marketing and visibility well enough, or maybe it's a weird time of year or something else is going on and something will not fill or run. So if you're doing 6-week session, how far back are you going to start letting people know, and then set the date where they need to have paid the deposit even, so that you know you're not out any money. Just like you would if you were doing, say, a retreat or a yoga teacher training. Is that helping, Melody, or do you have other questions about that? And if you have other questions, we could also do a little chat, like if it's easier that way for you to explain instead of type. Okay, Judy's saying, right now for me, it's Facebook and email. Thanks, Amanda. I just put marketing on my to-do calendar for every Monday. Oh my goodness, Judy, I'm so excited. And this is the thing about turning on that tap of like, let's keep doing that piece. And if you do not enjoy doing that piece, you need to outsource it. So you need to make it someone else's job. So for example, I'm going to get my hair away from my cord here. So for example, I do not like doing routine tasks where I don't get to be a little bit more creative. So my team does the podcast show notes and they pull out quotes. From those quotes, they'll pull out the ones that their 3 favorite, and we'll make quotes to put on our Facebook page. And now I just outsourced the task to Cindy to put those up on our Facebook page. And then if I feel creative and like I have this extra time, I can go in and change the text of that and ask some questions and get into conversation in there. But I don't have to. It could just be that we're sharing the quote and the message is getting out there about the podcast. I don't know if that's helpful. Find the things that you can outsource that aren't your favorite thing to do, or they're not your expertise, your skills. Amy says, oh, I know. Amanda's saying, yay, Judy. It is so exciting. I wonder if we could set a goal here now. Does anyone else already have marketing time on their weekly calendar, this is a really great thing to look at doing. And if you don't, what if we all did that this week and put that on our calendar and tried it out to see, okay, where could I fit some marketing and visibility time? That's just where you're telling people about how amazing you and your offering are. Okay. Amy says, I'm looking to start teaching private sessions online. Curious to know if you just cue or do you also move with the client? I know showing the student is helpful, but I also know it's important to watch the student for alignment and safety. Can you speak to the balance of the two? Thanks. Such a good question, Amy. Teaching yoga online can feel a lot like in person. And so my question to you is, if and when you are teaching one-on-one in person, do you tend to do a demo or do you cue verbally the poses? And you're going to aim for the same sort of thing. And each student is going to be different. I really respond well to when I work online with my yoga mentor, when she says to me, okay, we're going to do this thing and it's going to look like this. And now you go ahead and you do that. And then she's just waiting and watching me, just like we're in the room together. Or she'll say to me, you know, try that pose there and let me, and she'll even ask me, like, can you tip your screen a little bit so I can see how you're holding your shoulders? It's an opportunity for you both to use amazing technology to meet where you don't have to travel. You can be online, you know, countries away from each other and sharing yoga together. My yoga mentor is in Texas, and there's no way that we would have met other than online yoga, and she's amazing. Does anyone else teaching online yoga here? And Amy, I also want to find out, like, what were you thinking of using? I usually use Zoom, which is just like this, and that gives you the option to record it and send it to them. Amy says, Fridays are my day to work on my business, not in my business. So good. It's a non-negotiable and it's been a game changer. This is so good. Okay, good. Amy, yes, Zoom is really helpful. We have a couple of episodes on teaching private yoga. There's one on teaching online. Rosalind Kemmer did that one. It's way back. I feel like it was like episode 6 or 7, so early days of the podcast. What are some other tips? Oh, I have also taught where the other person's internet goes down. And so sometimes I will finish out the session. Like if I see they're not coming back on, then I'll do the yoga just like I'm doing it for video. And that way I can send it to them and then they have the rest of the yoga flow. I think it's really nice to also think that you're probably going to want to send them their yoga flow some way. So I have a scanner, and I know my yoga mentor also has a scanner to send that. I like to draw out the stick figures or write it out, but maybe you want to do it using something online as well. Any other questions, you guys? We have 10 minutes. I'm trying not to say that. Any other questions, friends? As I put on my all natural lip balm chocolate mint. It tastes pretty good. Yeah, sometimes that's the thing with technology, Amy, is that sometimes the connection does drop out. And so you need to just be ready. Sometimes our power has gone out or there's been a winter storm and our internet goes down. It's also great to get people's phone numbers if you're teaching via Zoom, because you can send them the Zoom link, but then if power went down or something happened, you need to be able to reach them by phone. So maybe it's through text or have another way to connect with them that maybe doesn't involve your computer. Any other questions here? Amy, Amanda, Emily, Judy, Megan, Melody. It's so fun to see so many of you here live with amazing questions. And I am super excited about how this is all kind of tying into some podcast episodes that are coming out soon. Let me show you what's coming up soon. Melody says, yay, Alberta connection. Your response was helpful. I think I have to figure out this hypothetical setup first before I can follow up on this. Lots in my brain, hopefully for next week's live show. Melody, are you talking about setting up? Now I'm like already forgetting what your question was. Oh yeah, the registered session. Yeah. You know what has been so amazing to me in the past week is to really, like, sometimes my planning doesn't look like I'm doing anything. Like I'm sitting there with my pen in my hand, usually a calendar. I like to write because it helps my brain think differently. And look at your calendar. So I have 12 months of the year up on the wall. I'm afraid to turn this because I think then my connection might drop. I'll do it very carefully. There's my microphone. But you can see just the corner of those calendars. And this is from Amanda and I have a mutual friend, Steph Crowder, who does this year on the wall. And I've seen other people do it as well. But even if you have 90 days of calendar that you can look at, or like you can print off calendars that are just a page each. And I would start by looking at 90 days. Plan out your event and then work backwards. So if you think, okay, I want to do this 6-week series, how long is it going to take me to get people to sign up to that thing? And think about yourself, like when seasons change, it takes a little bit of time. It takes some time leading up to that. You want enough notice. All of those things factor it into it, and then start to plan out, where you'll be talking to people about different things. It really helps. Judy has a question. Is it worth it to put up posters in doctor's offices, or will they let you? I'm planning on doing a posture series. Were you doing a posture series in posters, Judy? Ask the doctor's offices if they'll let you. What we had in our community was we had a list of all of the places that would allow us to put up posters for the yoga studio. And then this is one of those jobs where if it was summertime and it was sunny, it was my favorite job to do, but you can also outsource this. So you get your posters printed, get a bunch of them, and you do them all at once. It's handy to take around the tacks and the tape with you for the bulletin boards that don't have that. And as you go, if you're going the first time, I love to find spots where I can walk to each place. Think of the places that your yoga students are hanging out. So in our town, we have a fresh juice bar, and Jim is amazing there and always lets us put up posters. Oh, you don't know what I mean in terms of, tell me what you don't know what I mean, Judy. So then you just list out all of the places that will allow you to do posters. So the next time you go, it's so easy. And that way you can outsource it. You're creating the job in a way that you don't always have to be the one to do it. Poster. You don't know what I mean about poster? Judy, I'm going to see if we can chat. Oh, putting out posts. No, just because you were talking about posters in doctor's offices. Let's see. Maybe we have a communication. Judy, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah. This will be so much easier when we can talk.
Right. So you said something earlier, and I don't know if it was posters or not. And I wasn't sure what you meant, but now I think you just mean, was I thinking of putting posters out in offices? Is that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Is that what you're doing? Like you wanted to put posters up?
That's what I was thinking. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some doctor's offices will let you, but then also look at all of the other places in your community as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
We used to do posters all the time and get so many students from that. So I don't think it's gone. I wonder how many other people are using posters.
Okay. Sounds great. This has been indispensable. This has probably been the best hour of my life.
Well, it's nice to have other people who are in it with you. Like we're all dealing with the same thing. We're just all over And we're so busy with our head down working, we can't often, look up and say, what is working for everyone?
Absolutely. And it's so nice to have it related to yoga.
Yes, it is. Have you listened to the podcast?
Only the one that we talked about that.
With Amanda?
Only Abby's so far.
Okay, only Abby Herman's. Okay.
Yeah, I'm brand new.
Good stuff. Well, it's like if you want to take it with you in your car, it's a good place to like listen, or I'm sure you have tons of studio jobs that you're doing, like organizing props and doing all kinds of things, cleaning the floor.
Yes.
Yeah. You can have a listen. There's tons of helpful episodes there. Yeah.
Great.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, what else do we have here? Amanda says, Judy, think of where your ideal students for the workshop visits. Do they go to coffee shops? Where do they get their hair done? Then get connected to the business owner and see if you can, 1, advertise in their store, and 2, collaborate. Oh, yes. Here's a great point here that Amanda's making, collaborating. Remember when I was talking about Jim with the juice bar in our local town? So we did a thing where if you went to so many yoga classes, you would get a free juice. And if you got so many free juice, or if you bought so many juice at the juice bar, then you would get a yoga class. So we collaborated with that place. We've done different things like that as well. Or you just chat with them and see, especially if it really fits your business. Amanda's saying, oh yeah, we did that one. And Amy's saying, I'm putting postcards in my local libraries. Yes. Since my class is a free community class, libraries won't let you advertise paid events. This is a good way to advertise. Amy, I'm so curious, do you teach in the library, or I'm also curious, your class is a free community class. Tell us about that. Is this your way to advertise, or is this your giving back and your donation of yoga? I'm so curious always when yoga is free. So here is a little bit of homework. Do you have some marketing time on your calendar or content creation time? What is maybe missing from that visibility marketing piece at the top? The very, very top, where you need to let people know. Amanda is soon on the podcast talking about, Amanda, I hope you're okay with me sharing it here because it's one of my favorite analogies and I need to give credit to her for this one. She talks about, it's like planning a party, and you can have all of the best decorations and all of the best planning in place, but if you don't tell anyone about the party, then they can't go. That's Amanda's, and it's brilliant. So that's what your yoga's like. You need to let people know. Oh, this is nice. Amy says the class is Seva, not at the library. The class is held at a church in the community. Nice. You have to invite them to the party. So my question to all of you is, have you invited people to the party? Do your close friends know what you offer? Do you have an email list? Could you post it on your personal Facebook once in a while? Not all the time, but once in a while. Megan says, I love the idea to partner with another business owner and give one free blank from a said partner when a person signs up for X amount of sessions. Yes, it works really well. Also, what works really well is when you go into your community and you tell people who you are. So you walk in with your smile and your amazing yoga self, and you let them know that you're a yoga teacher from down the street, and you're wondering if you can put a poster up. You're introducing yourself. You are marketing your yoga right there. So if you're not going to do that, make sure you pick a really cheery, friendly, happy person to put up posters. I used to work in a place where we screened the posters, and it really had to do with how someone presented themselves when they came in as well. That was part of the first part of the screening of the poster. Megan also says, what do you think of brochures? So I'm curious, like, I think anything can work. Bookmarks, postcards, business cards sometimes, and brochures or posters. My question to you would be, can you make it so that someone would pick it up and then take it away and they're going to read it? And what would make them be reading it to the point where they think, this is so good, I want to keep this piece of paper, or I want to share it with my friend. So this is the one thing when we are printing, it is important to think about the environment. I know some studios do zero printing. So they want to have this like environmentally responsible way of printing. But if we look at the same thing, if we want to create something like, I have picked up postcards, I don't think I have any up now, but I've picked up postcards that have literally stuck on my bulletin board. They were so amazing. So on one side would be like this amazing artwork or different words or a quote. And then on the back would be the information where it looks like, I really love that. It's a piece of art for a while for my bulletin board. So let's start to look at things that people will want to pick up because they're beautiful or useful, and that they'll keep them or reuse them in different ways as well. Okay, everyone, this has been so much fun. We will all be back here, or some of us will be back here. I will be here. Abby will be here next. Abby Herman will be here next week, walking us through and really talking about our zones of genius, the different topics that we specialize in, and how we can look at that to simplify our content where it's not like, what am I going to write about? Which we've all hit that. It really does help to simplify things. And if you haven't listened to the episode with Abby, go listen to it first, so then you have like the foundation of things before she dives in a little bit further. Okay, everyone, have a fantastic week, and I will see you back here soon. Take care. Judy, before we go, says, I have a teacher friend in Maine who uses the most amazing postcards. Most of her classes are in the summer at the beach or at hotel pools. You can put it on your refrigerator when you get home. I love it, Judy. Thank you. Okay, bye, everyone. Thank you.